Good morning. I don't know if this is going to work. I had a leak in the roof and the council are doing it, so I'm out in the country. We'll see how it goes. We need to think about, can we leave things with Jehovah? Now, in about the year 612 BC, the prophet Habakkuk was really concerned about the situation in Israel. And in Habakkuk chapter 1 and verse 3, he states, "Why do you set injustice before me? There's tyranny, outrage, violence, contention, and discord." What had caused this situation? Well, verse 4 says that the law loses its hold and justice never shows itself. God had provided the law of Moses to the Israelites to prevent crimes and to make life reasonable. If a widow's belongings were stolen, she got them back plus compensation. But the princes and the priests ignored the laws of Moses, and hence they came up with a situation of violence. Now here we have a verse beloved of Watchtower, Habakkuk 3 and verse 16, where he says, "Calmly I await the day of anguish." Is he relying on Jehovah to sort things out? Well, we need to understand this properly. He was waiting for the Babylonians to come to destroy Jerusalem and to take people into exile. That was God's way of dealing with the disobedience of the kings and the priests. He wasn't going to sort out individual injustices because the priests had ignored the way God had designed things, that is, the law of Moses. So let's bring us up to date to our day. What have we got today? Now, what we need to bear in mind is that God will not stop wicked people from doing wicked things. He will not stop thieves from stealing, murderers from murdering. He will not stop abusers. He won't stop elders from breaching human rights. He won't stop them from causing mayhem, making you ill and worse. He won't stop it because humans have free will, and we have said to God, we don't want you interfering in our affairs. Now, God has very kindly helped us out, which he didn't have to do, but he's given us the governments to deal with certain problems. And in Romans 13, it says that the civil authorities are appointed by God, and it says that they carry out God's revenge by punishing wrongdoers. This is God's way of dealing with crimes. Now, Watchtower has taken it upon themselves to deal with this themselves. And they take it from 1 Corinthians 6 and verse 2, where Paul said, "As you know, it is the saints who are to judge the world, and if the world is to be judged by you, how can you be unfit to judge what crimes? No, to judge trifling cases." So what was the extent of the elders' authority? Well, if one sister steps on another sister's toes, what can elders do? Well, they can go along and smooth out hurt feelings. They can encourage apologies. That's it. They can't go any further. So when somebody goes to them with a case of abuse, they do not have the authority or the competence to deal with it. It must go to the governments. Now, if they don't, if they say to somebody, "Oh, leave it with Jehovah," what's going to happen? Will Jehovah do it? No. If the elders don't do things the way God says for them to be done, God will not say, "Oh, you don't like the way I've asked you to do things. Well, let me see if I can find another way of doing things." No, he won't. People get hurt. They stay hurt because the elders have not done things God's way. But they must bear the responsibility for that. As it says in Romans 13, it says that if anyone resists this authority, They are rebelling against God's decision, and such an act is bound to be punished. So please, Watchtower, take notice of this. It's bound to be punished. But what about the poor person who's been abused? They get hurt. We all get hurt. What will God do? Well, he does provide some emotional support eventually, and he has promised to provide for us. So if our belongings have been stolen, he will make sure that we have the absolute necessities, but he will not deal with crimes himself, not until the kingdom comes. As with the situation in the 600s BC, God brought the Babylonians to destroy the disobedient kings and priests. So today we wait for the kingdom, when God will put an end to Watchtower's bad way of doing things, and he will then give all these poor people who've been harmed, he will cure them and help them out with their problems. I'm sorry this hasn't been so good this morning, but thank you for bearing with me. And any comments you have on leaving things with Jehovah, I'd be most grateful. Thank you. And it's only with Jehovah's help that I've done this morning.